Hello and welcome to another brilliant, inspiring episode of Be Free, Be Fun, Be Fearless. I am Rana Al-Falaki. I am your host and I am privileged and honored to be welcome you today and welcome my amazing guest, Batista Gremaud. She is the co-founder of Dr. Fitness International. And she is an international body designer. So we're going to be talking about some amazing stuff today, always following the theme of how to be free, be fun, and be fearless. But Batista has an amazing story which she's going to share with you today and really give you some help, some tips, some inspiration. A lot of it on how you can be pain-free, but also how you can engage with your passions and move on with your life, not be crippled by fear or by pain. But I have the most important question, Batista. Are you ready? First, I should say hello.
I am. Well, hello.
Hello.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so thrilled that you agreed to join me. And so I want to ask you, what on earth is an international body designer?
Excellent question. What is an international body designer? So, you know, there's fitness experts, there's many different fitness modalities, there are personal trainers, there are physical therapy. International body designer is, I'm going to give you an analogy, okay? You're building a house and you have the general contractor, then you have the painter, then you have different people that are doing different things. But before you can build the house, you have to have an architect that's going to design the foundation, that's going to put the plan into action. That is an international body designer. It's somebody that's not going to only give you a plan, that's not only going to put the mortar or build the walls or give you a routine, a workout plan, but it's somebody that's going to look at the structure of your body to really build the foundation or rebuild the foundation of the body so that the outcome of it will be completely different, because what you're going to get is an actual really beautifully balanced physique where you're going to recover your health. And really what happens is become pain-free. That's we can't guarantee it and we don't make promises, but really the track record is amazing in relief from pain and illnesses and things like that. That's an international body designer. It's somebody that actually, it's the architect of the body.
Yeah, and international.
How do you like that?
In the world, and of course online too, right?
Exactly. So international is because we do work with people worldwide, and and for many years. So people have before we were online, because this system is based on my husband, Dr. Fitness USA, protocol, and he's been doing this for 50 years. So 50 years ago, there was not the internet like now. So way back then, people would travel to Los Angeles to work with him, and they would travel all over the world. But of course, now that we have so much technology and opportunities to really simplify that process, now we are able to do this online, very easy worldwide. And that's where international came in.
Yes. Now, what I'm hearing, I'm going to ask you about your story in a minute, but just to clarify this body designer. So what I'm hearing you say, and I'm sure we're going to go into it in more detail afterwards, but as opposed to someone who might be a personal trainer and you go there and you discuss your goals with them, like I want to lose a certain amount of weight, I want to build my upper body strength, I want my quads to be stronger, or I need more core. What I'm hearing you say is you also look at the underlying cause, needs, body structure, metabolism, the whole thing of the person. So it's not only meeting their goals, but it's also meeting their best needs. Am I hearing correct?
Yes.
How true is that?
Yes, you are. You're absolutely right. So there's something to remember is, in sales and marketing, they say you have to give people what you have to sell people what they want, but you have to give them what they need. Okay, so people usually come to us because they, uh, people look at the body from like body parts, so they want to lose weight, or they want to lose belly fat, or they have knee pain. Okay, I have knee pain, or I have back pain, or I have shoulder pain. So people have specific things that they want. But what people usually don't realize is the body is everything is connected in the body, and you cannot fix one part unless you fix the whole. And that's the big secret. And that's one of the big difference in what we do, because somebody could come with a neck pain, and the neck pain could be coming from the knees. I mean, I'm just saying, you can't look at body parts individually. Okay. So yes, you're absolutely right. So when we talk to people, they come with a want. So we have to address the want, but we know what we have to do on the back end.
Yeah, so, and it's like you say, then in that way, exactly like the architect, he comes along, he stands on the plot of land, you tell him what you want, he ascertains what's actually possible, looks at the structure, checks everything out, and ultimately is listening to your needs to interpret what you want and get the right thing.
Exactly. Yes, you're absolutely right.
Beautiful. So you're all going to have to hang tight and listen for a little bit longer before before we share with you exactly how Batista does this. But tell me a little bit about your story and what inspired you and how you ended up getting into this and what happened.
Thank you for asking. So originally I'm from Switzerland. So if you wonder where my accent is from, it's French, from the French part of Switzerland. So we can get that out of the way, because people are always trying to figure out, what's that accent? So it is French, but from Switzerland, which is a little bit different than the French accent. And I was a ballet dancer my whole life. So my mother was a ballet dancer, my father was a mime. So I grew up in the art, okay? And that's all I ever wanted to do. It was my passion my whole life. And that's what I did my entire life. I had some injuries in my early 20s. I had some car accidents. So I was left with some pretty serious injuries that developed into chronic pain over the years, and dancing over the injuries, of course, that didn't help. I also broke my foot when I was in my mid-20s. That's when all these things happened. So that was a part of a time in my life where it was just like everything kept happening. That ended my ballet career, and that's how I ended up kind of like recycling myself into flamenco, which was my passion since ever I was a young girl. So I became a flamenco dancer my whole life. And by the time I reached my my mid-40s, I was pretty hurt, okay? And that's also the time where the hormones change, and 40, the body, women, a lot of things happen. And I was so against the wall. I was really looking at pretty much losing my career, because I couldn't go on. And what would I do if I couldn't dance anymore? That was my whole entire life. But I was seriously hurt. Now my other passion, aside from dancing, is spirituality and metaphysical science, the power of the mind, and all this. And I've spent many years in studying those fields. And one day I was in a meditation class, and I had a moment of clarity. Like sometimes we wake up and we have that moment where we go, wow, you become awake and you say, what is going on? What's missing here? Because I have all this knowledge on all these absolutely fantastic, like spirituality, how to manifest what you need, how to stay positive, and the faith and the whole thing. And yet my body is falling apart, and I can't, and I'm powerless. I don't know how to fix it. I had done literally everything, like from all the different modalities, the chiropractors, the massages, the acupuncture, the acupressure, all the therapies, the hands-on healing, the hypnosis. I mean, you name it, I'd done it. And I was completely against the wall. And in that moment of clarity, there was a talk that evening, there was a talk about body, mind, spirit integration. And I looked around the room and said, well, that sounds great, body, mind, spirit, but where is the body? Because I certainly don't have a grip on my body. And then when I looked around, I saw a lot of people that were hurting. I wasn't alone. And it's at that moment that I started creating that vision that there has to be something to take care of that the third, of body, mind, spirit, but the body specifically. And the very next day, that's when I met Dr. Fitness USA. So for me, it was like a sign, right? In those days, everything was dance for me. I had a dance studio, a dance company, an arts education program. I was working 7 days a week, and that day I was in a restaurant where I was waiting to have a meeting with the owner about a dance show that I was going to present there. And so I was sitting there waiting for the owner, and there comes this gentleman, and he's kind of buff, And so we made eye contact, and then he gets up, and then he walks by the table where I was sitting, and he stops and he looks at me and he says, well, who are you? And I said, well, I'm Batista. And I said, well, who are you? And he says, I'm an international body designer. And my jaw dropped, and I said, that's what I need. It was like a sign from God. So we sat down, we had a conversation. He invited me to his office, and his conversation was quite different than anything that I had ever heard in the fitness industry, movement, healing. Everything was like really different. And I thought I knew it all because I had done it all, but that was different. He was telling me about never doing anything that's uncomfortable, but lifting weight and lifting heavy weight. And even those two ideas didn't even fit in the same sentence in my mind, right? Because lifting weights sounds really uncomfortable. I didn't understand any of it, but basically I was desperate. I was praying for something. There it was. So I hired him. And I started on this program, and literally within a couple of weeks, my backache was gone. My backache of 35 years was gone, and it never came back, and it's been 11 years. So to make a long story short, I married him.
Yeah.
And that was the beginning.
You paid him, you hired him, and then you married him. You got that the wrong way
around. I married him. I didn't marry him right away, right? I finished my contract, and I didn't want to mix the two, right? Because I gave him quite a bit of money, so I didn't want to mix those two. But
I just want to go back. We're going to carry on with some of the story, but the pain, because a lot of people listening will be able to relate to that chronic pain. I see it so often with patients who come to me. Obviously, for me, they come in much of my clinic with a different condition, but so often they have things like chronic fatigue, they have fibromyalgia, they have arthritic pain, and they're just living on painkillers the whole time. The doctors don't have anything else they can give them, so then they take one pill which is going to strip their stomach linings, and they take more pills and more pills and more side effects. Just tell me, and they just, obviously they live with it, right? You just live to this normal standard of being in pain. That becomes your norm. You don't even know what it's like not to have pain. I want to know a little bit more from you, how it impacted on your life, and what having this chronic pain felt like.
It's debilitating, and being a dancer, you have to, dancing is already challenging because it's a very hard thing to do, and then you have to smile and it has to look easy, and you know what I mean, so that's hard as it is. But when you are injured on top of it, then it becomes a real challenge. And then what happens is it kind of robs you of a lot of opportunities, because for me it was all about dancing, but then it was all about like trying to heal. So it was doctors, appointments, chiropractors, massages. Like I would have to go to a chiropractor 3 times a week sometimes, or get a massage every week, and then of course the series of different things that you try to get out of pain, and then all the things that you can't do. Like I would remember going to visit my family. I live in Los Angeles, so it's a long trip to go all the way to Switzerland, and just the trip, being in the plane for 13 hours, and then the time that I would be visiting with my family. Of course, I didn't have my regular chiropractors or my regular maintenance that I usually have here, and then just being in pain all the time, not being able to really enjoy the visit or do the things that I'd love to do, like hiking and the things that we do. So it just really takes a toll on not only your social life, family life, but professionally. I was always, there was always a limit to how much I could go on.
Yeah.
So I think that pain is a real is a real problem, and the sad thing is you just get so used to it that it's just sad. You don't even believe that you don't believe that it's possible not to have it.
Yeah. So
So
it just becomes it just becomes your norm, but it impacts on, the physical side is one of the huge energy influences. So it impacts on our approach to life, right? Our ability to feel free, to have joy, to be at peace, because it's always there. And so it impacts on your ability to be completely present in a situation. It's a bit like, that when you suddenly come across with a really bad headache or a migraine that you can't focus, and yet you're permanently like that, or you're putting limits on yourself because you start thinking, I can't do this because if I do, I'm going to be in even more pain the next day, or I can't. So you just, you can't enjoy things, but you start limiting your life because you start living your life within the constraints of what becomes your normal.
Absolutely, definitely. And then of course I was never too much into pain medication and things like this, but it's it's always in the background. It's always, you always have that bottle of painkillers, that just what you do. Yeah.
And I also think it's worth saying that when people are in chronic pain as well, obviously, they limit their life, but they limit the life of people around them, like their partners, for example. Because they get into this victim mode of I can't do this because of this pain, and I can't do that, or I shouldn't do that. And it's very, it takes a very strong person not to sort of sit in the doldrums, and they tend to resonate in what I call that catabolic energy, that level 1 and level 2, where they're either in victim mode, where all of this is being done to them, or they occasionally get angry and frustrated and perhaps shift blame. But they feel powerless. I heard you say the word powerless. They feel powerless to do anything about it. And it must also impact on their relationships as well, surely.
Oh, absolutely. All the things that you could do and you don't, because you just, and absolutely, like trips, Sunday trips, well, vacations and things, is like, no, I can't do this. I have to rest. I have a day off. I can't go and have fun with the kids, the family, or whatever. I have to just rest, because tomorrow I have a show, and God forbid, I'm not like rested. And oh yeah.
So then what happens is your life becomes all about you, and you become, surely from what I'm hearing, you become much more inward thinking, because this is all about you rather than outward thinking. And that must put such a strain and a drain on people around you as well. Or you may feel bad about putting a burden on them, that you become more insular in yourself. How true is that?
That's absolutely true. Definitely. Yeah. And so many times I would have to say, okay, go without me, or so it puts it's a separating factor for sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And you put up with this for 30
years. Well, what's that?
You put up with this for 30 years.
30 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm just curious, what was the marriage proposal like?
Well, so let me back up. So I started on the program. I got pain-free, and I got very fascinated with the whole process. So this was actually around the 2008 time, where the economy crashed, and that was another very hard time in my life. That was, where I hit the wall. All my injuries amplified. I had a dance studio that caught on fire, so I'd lost that business. Then the 2008, I had a pretty booming arts education program where I was working in the school districts. All the funds got taken out of the school districts at that time, so that business fell apart. And I was already into the program, and I had already kind of found that strength and that relief from pain, and so my mindset was starting to shift, right? And then both my parents died. So then first my father died, and I went to Switzerland to help with the funeral and everything. And then I came back to the States, and then 2 weeks later I get the call that now my mother died too. And so I had to go back, and I have a brother and a sister, but neither one of them are well. My sister was schizophrenic, and my brother had a meningitis as a young child, and he ended up with brain damage, and he's still in a home now. My sister passed away last Christmas, but when both our parents died, there was nobody to do anything except me. And my parents had lived in a house, a big house, and they never threw anything away. And they were both artists, and they collected art, and and they had never thrown anything away for like 54 years. So it was a huge undertaking to just be there, and I had to spend an extensive amount of time to arrange all the affairs and everything. So whatever I had left of my business in LA, which was just some students, I was still teaching dance. By then they all disappeared, out of sight, out of mind. So when I came back from all this, I came back to the States. I was faced with starting my dance uh, career back from scratch, rebuilding, because literally everything was gone. And there was Stephen Hersey, Dr. Fitness USA, and his amazing program. And I saw an opportunity that I could make a career transition and work with him. And so we started dating. And at that point, it was a hard time. It was kind of a transformative time, but I um, I, I was pain free, and there it was. And so through dating and doing the thing, writing the books. I wrote 2 books actually. One is Feminine Body Design, Empowering Fitness for a Pain-Free Life. And through this process, we just grew closer and closer. And one day, he popped the question. It was like it seemed like the right thing to do, because we were spending all the time together, and by now we were both passionate about the business and helping people. And then I said yes.
Why not?
And why not? I said yes. And we both kind of we're very kind of private people and stuff, so we didn't do a big wedding and anything like this. It was just the 2 of us. We kept it really quiet, and here we are 11 years later.
Beautiful. Ah, that's so lovely. I've got to get the violins out now. Such a romantic story. So you were clearly very passionate. You had tried and tested his method. We've talked about the impact that it has on every aspect of our life, our mental, our emotional, our physical, our psychological, our leadership skills, our relationships when we are physically in pain. Suddenly you found yourself within weeks no longer in pain. Surely there was a bit of suspicion still at that point, thinking, oh, this is all very well, but it's going to come back.
The amazing thing is, and this is my experience, and I see this in all the people, is when you're in pain all the time, and it becomes so normal. Mm-hmm. And when you're out of pain, it becomes, you get used to it too. And so I don't think I ever was suspicious. It's just like one day I looked back and I said, it's been a year, it's been 2 years, I'm pain free. I do the same thing today. It's like, it's been 11 years, and I see this with our clients, because sometimes they don't even realize that they don't have the pain anymore. They don't even realize it. And then when we say, oh, by the way, how is that going? And they go, it's gone. It's a phenomenon. And many times people forget where it came from.
I see that with my patients and also with my coaching clients. That's why I find it so important to go back to kind of the initial questionnaire or the initial photographs or the initial complaints, because we do forget. And then they might start complaining about something and it's so minor, and you have to remind them, but you've come this far, you were here before and you've come here. And they're like, oh my goodness, yes, you're right. So you're right.
Absolutely.
You get used to it. Absolutely.
Yeah, totally. And a lot of times it's strange, because a lot of times the transition to having the pain and not having the pain, then you don't really know when it happened. You can say, oh, on that day all of a sudden I was pain free, but all of a sudden you look back and you go, it's gone. And you just go like, what? It's very, very strange. And you're absolutely right. It is so important to keep track of the question, record the interviews, where the desperation of, oh, the pain and how much it's affecting me, and to go back, because people do forget where they came from.
Yeah.
Many
Yeah.
times.
And
Yes.
then I think because the mindset is so programmed in this, in this victim mode of I can't, that I think sometimes the mind can almost stop you from getting completely better, because suddenly your body can do it, but your mind is trying to put limitations until it has time to catch up.
Yes, absolutely. That's why, yeah, absolutely. That's why it is, it's the coaching sessions are so important, because you can really re-emphasize that aspect of the brain muscle connection. This is what I like to call it, the brain muscle connection, because that's where the person really becomes centered and grounded inside the body, and stop living in the head over here, but really brings it back to the center of the body, where the connection. And this is where I see the answers of my prayers of the body, mind, spirit integration way back then, that day when I was in that meditation class and I was saying, what is missing? Where is it? And now I can bring it back to where I am today, where I really found that piece of body, mind, spirit integration, because that's what it is about. If you have one of the three, that it's like being on a tripod. You have a tripod and one of the leg is missing, your tripod is going to fall over, right?
Yeah.
So you have to have the three.
Yeah.
And I find that many people live in their heads. They're completely disconnected with their bodies. Even people that exercise, because people are multitasking. They're not living in the moment. They're not present in their own lives. They're just doing things. But when you stop and you change that way, and you start honing it in, and really having that brain muscle connection, this is one of the things that we teach people not to multitask. Now we have a way of doing the teaching through the fitness program, right? The strength training. But the saying, how you do one thing, you do everything. It's how you run your life. And if you can start bringing some of those habits into your training, into really being present, into being grounded in the training. I mean, you go to a gym, what do you see? You see people chit-chatting, you see people on their cell phones, you see people, people are not present even when they exercise, So get rid of the chatter, get rid of all this, become present in your own center.
So I just want to say one more thing, and then I want to ask you. I want us to backtrack a little bit and go into that. But just from what you were saying before, the impression I get is, we have four bodies. We have the physical body, which feels pain, but we also have the mental, emotional, and the spiritual bodies. And so what I'm hearing from you when you talk about mind-body connection, it's about balancing all the bodies.
Absolutely.
Because
they're all connected.
There could be a problem in the spiritual body or in the mental body, but it's manifesting in the physical body by feeling the pain, which of course is why we know stress causes disease. Why, like you said yourself, suddenly your whole life was going to pot and things got worse. There was then even more pain because, of course, the mental, this body that's in here, is affecting the physical. Did I get that right? Are we
absolutely. Totally, because as above, so below, and it's just in the same way as I explained earlier, how people just see their body parts. So I want to get rid of this pain right here. You can't just get rid of this pain right here. You have to address the whole body. But as above, so below, and the spiritual bodies are still part of your body. It's still all connected in the same thing.
Yeah.
So what I said about the physical body, looking at the whole body as a whole, applies to all the bodies, all the spiritual bodies. You can't look at one without looking at the others. It's all connected.
And a lot of people have difficulty. I know, obviously, my career pre coaching and writing was obviously dealing with people with gum disease and so on, and facial pain, jaw pain, orofacial pain. And occasionally we'd get to the point where, they'd be begging for you to take their teeth out because they were in so much agony. And there's an actual diagnosis for it. And you would take that person's tooth out, and then they'd be begging again a few months later to take another tooth out. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. We're much more aware of it nowadays. I mean, this is real pain that these people are feeling, but we call it psychosomatic pain. And they would be saying, but I'm not crazy. And no one is saying you're crazy. But of course, the treatment for it would be, antidepressants or something like that to block these pain pathways. Now, of course, what you do is a hell of a lot more holistic. We're not going to pills because you have another solution, which I want to delve into that because I'm so excited, because I tend to be very, anti taking tablets and antidepressants and all the rest of it. But how can you communicate if you have somebody who says, look, I want you to help me, and you start telling them all this stuff about coaching and their mind, and they turn around and say, Batista, I'm not crazy, I'm not depressed, I'm not mental, I just want you to fix me. How do you deal with that?
We don't talk, we very rarely talk about it and explain all that. The people come to us for a specific purpose, and we say, yes, sure, and then just go train, just do the program.
So you're back to you're fixing their wants, even though really you're dealing with their needs.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Just go train, and then pretty soon they go, sometimes even within the first 2 trainings, they go, oh, I feel better, I'm so energized, or oh, my backache is already better, and just go train. So very, very rarely we explain, because they wouldn't understand. They
build up a resistance. Yeah,
just fix me, you know what I mean? But we know behind the scene.
Yeah. But also, that is what makes you different, because there will be some people who, like I said, have tried all the traditional stuff, and therefore some of them surely do want to understand it, because they recognize that what you offer is something much more holistic and something different, and they recognize that's actually what they need, because they've been through all the traditional pathways and it hasn't helped. It's just taped over things that you having your massages that just kept keeping you going, but it never really fixed the problem. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the thing, if I may just say a couple of words about what happens, because what you said before was very revealing. You see, we say you take the tooth out and then the person still has the pain, or they amputate the leg and the person is still itching, or you hear all these stories. So one of the things that we do with our program is we increase a person's strength by 20 to 50% physically. Okay, now physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, it's all related. Okay, especially when you're doing it with the principles that we reinforce, which is grounding the body, being comfortable. We work with ergonomics, so the body is very supported, so you're never trying to do something and you go, it's very safe. Okay. But when you can increase a person's strength by 20 to 50% the way we do, then what happens is it strengthens the nervous system. Okay, so the way I like to explain it is the nervous system is like the electrical panel in your house. If your electrical system is outdated and you plug in too many appliances, it's going to blow a fuse. And this is what happens to the body. Most people, electrical system, their nervous system is outdated, is on overload. And then they continue to overload it even more. So then they blow a fuse. And what does that look like? Depression, illness, pain, because the body cannot recover anymore. So basically what we do with the program, we rewire your electrical panel.
I love it. I love that analogy. So I'm going to bring you up and I'm going to say, Dr. Fitness, you international body designer extraordinaire, I've heard about what you do. I'm in terrible pain all the time. In fact, I usually am. Like here, I mean, this pain is just horrendous after a day in my clinic. Fix me. What are you going to do for me? What are you going to do from start to finish? What does your program entail?
Okay, excellent question. So the first thing, and thank you for saying this, I'm going to invite you to a consultation, because one of the things that we have great success with is shoulder, helping with shoulder pain for dentists, because you have that overuse syndrome. And that's one of the things that we do also. Okay, so the way it works is the first thing is to have a consultation, to book a consultation so we can have a one-on-one talk and really see what's going on.
And like we said, that can be done online, so it doesn't.
That's done online.
Your office.
That's done through a Zoom call.
Okay.
So then we see if we are a good fit, if the mindset is there, if if we know a little bit of where the person's mindset, because sometimes people, they want to be helped. Okay, there's three types of people. There's the one that says, help me, but then when you try to help them, they want you to do all the work. They don't want to show up for themselves. You know what I mean? And then there's the person that says, help me, but then they're going to sabotage everything that you're trying to do. They're going to say, no, yes, whatever. And then there's the person that says, help me, I need help, and just tell me what to do and I'll do it. Okay, so in an interview we can see where the person is at. They have to have the right mindset. They have to be willing to take directions. You know what I mean? Otherwise, if they're not willing to do that, then we can help you, but we have a system that works. Are you coachable? Okay. So now we established whether the person is a good fit, they're coachable, and so now we're going to move forward. So there's different plans. We're going to choose a plan that fits their budget, their whatever, their time frame. Some people have more time, less time, whatever. And so now we're going to take pictures of their bodies. That's an assessment in different poses, because now we're going to see where the structure aligns and what we need to do to put the body back into balance. And then we're going to design a plan for the person. And then we have an online platform. We have a whole system online where we're going to start designing the program for the person. And the person is going to just take the map of their workout, they're going to implement, and then we're going to do Zoom calls where we're going to address the issues, or sometimes we need to maybe have a video so we can see how the person is doing a movement so that we can make the necessary corrections. And like this, we rock and roll with the plan, and there you go. So it's very simple.
So it's not all lift. The ultimate function is the weights, and to gain the strength by 20 to 50%, and specific exercises, but very much tailor-made to your everyday life and how or why you've ended up in that way in the first place. Is that correct?
Oh yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we have different programs now. Before the pandemic, it was all done in a gym. So the person would need to go to a gym. And of course, since the pandemic and the gym's closing, we have programs that people can do at home as well.
Okay.
And next year, we are planning to do more groups. We're starting to work with groups now a little bit, especially with the home programs and the pandemic, with people wanting community and things like this. So we are actually expanding that into the new year with providing community, and that's an area where we're going as well.
Helps, of course, keep people motivated as well, knowing they're not in it alone, and also feeling inspired by seeing other people's results firsthand.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Amazing. So you have you waved that book at me, and I know you've got a couple of other books as well, haven't you?
Yeah. So this, hold on, there we go. This was my first book, Posture for Power, and this this book is actually really special to me anyway, because that's when I met Stephen, and I realized all his achievements, the amazing achievements, and the philosophy, and his story, which is fascinating also, the people he's worked with, his mentors, and I wanted have a mark in history, so I wrote that book. So this book was the first one, and it reflects kind of the history. It's part biography of Stephen's life, but also it depicts the philosophy behind. And of course, this one, I started this one.
It depicts the philosophy behind what you do, the international body designer.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it has a lot of before after pictures over the years. Stephen has been doing this for 55 years, and I've done a lot of research to find people that he worked with in the 80s and to see their journey through the years. And I found people now, they're in their 60s, 70s, and they've made career transitions. They're personal trainers, they teach, and a lot of them are even in better shape than when they were in their 20s. So the track record of the program is phenomenal.
Amazing.
And I wanted to put that on record, so that's when I put this book. And the feminine body design, that one is very dear to me, because as a woman athlete, I had a lot of misconceptions, and I see this in women all the time. The no pain, no gain, the show must go on mentality, and even all the fad methods that people teach, what you see online. I mean, just go to YouTube, and there are millions of workout videos that are designed to destroy your body.
Oh.
I mean, it's insane. Oh yeah. When you look at it and you go, oh my God, and people buy it. People think it's the way to do it. Listen, I was on a coaching call a couple over the weekend, and I was talking to this woman, and she says, oh, I just joined Beach Body, okay, and she said the first video that I did, they had me do jumping jacks, which is nothing, right? And she got hurt, and she hasn't worked out since, and it's been months. So, not to say that doing jumping jack is a bad thing. I mean, it seems like, okay, it's just a jumping jack, but depending on where your body is at, what you have done or not done in the last 6 months, is it really the thing to do to start a workout? Maybe not. You know what I mean? Even though you might think that doing a jumping jack is harmless, but in that case, it wasn't harmless. And there's so many misconceptions in the fitness industry. And this is why I wrote this book, because it dispels the misconceptions, the myth about fitness, and especially for women, like weight loss. Oh, I have to do an hour of cardio every day to lose weight, and I don't want to do weight training because I'm going to get bulky, or I need to lose weight before I do weight training. Come on, weight training is going to actually boost your metabolism so you can lose weight more easily. That's the book.
And where can we get that book? That's an amazing book. Where can we get it?
Amazon.
From Amazon? Okay, so
Amazon.
feminine body design. I'll make sure I put a link in there for you. That sounds
feminine body design, empowering fitness for a pain-free life. It explains about the nervous system, you know, what I was explaining to you earlier about the nervous system, the stress management. I originally started this book, a woman who works with specifically with women with endometriosis.
Mhm.
She asked me to design a program for the women with endometriosis. And I had to do a lot of research on that. And through my research, I realized that it's all the same: endometriosis, autoimmune disorders, injuries. It all comes from the same source, the imbalance in the body. And then I said, no, I'm not writing this book just for endometriosis. I'm writing this book for all women.
Yeah, but it is worth women knowing that the ones with the autoimmune disorders, of which there are so many, and an awful lot of them, much higher rates in women, funnily enough, all the thyroid ones and the ones that affect your immune system, much higher rates in women, the fibromyalgia, all of that stuff, the pain, and of course endometriosis, and how there is a common source which you are able to help, which is just phenomenal. Then it's like a win-win. You get out of pain and you get fitter. I mean, how can you lose? So you have a free gift, my darling, don't you, which you wanted to offer people as well, which is so generous of you. Do you want to mention that?
Yeah, well, you know what? I would love for you to book a complimentary consultation. So that's the first step, of course, you know, because that we get to know each other. And so go ahead. You're going to put the link somewhere or whatever. So
but
please come.
speak out,
And
speak out for me as well, Batista, because of anyone who's only listening to audios, is there a particular website they'll go on, or?
oh, yes, absolutely. So you can go to drfitnessinternational.com. Doctor is DR, fitness, international is the short version, INT, drfitnessinternational.com for sure. And from the homepage there, you can actually click and book a consultation. I'd love to speak with you. You know what they say? When the student is ready, the teacher appears. And if you've been looking for answers, well, we certainly have answers. So I'd love to speak with you.
That's amazing. So Batista, you've tackled the fearlessness of just go for it, and you've told us your story and also the adversity that you faced as well, but still overcame it. You've told us about the freedom, because of course you work for yourself now and do what you want, and you're free of pain. So we've tackled that. And I can sense from you, I know you're a lot of fun because you and I have spent a long time talking with each other. But if someone was particularly worried about doing your program, and because that's another common thing that people mention, they just say, oh, it isn't, I don't ever have any fun in working out. So how do you tackle that?
Okay, first of all, if you have a toothache, you're going to go to the dentist because you have a toothache, and nobody wants a toothache. So if you have pain, then there is something that you need to do, unless you just want to stay with the pain. That's what I was talking before. There's three types of people. Are you willing to do what it takes or not? Okay. So I don't really like going to the dentist, but if I have a toothache, I'm going to go. Okay. So first of all, change your mindset. And second of all, when you start finding your power and you start coming in touch with your strength, because women have no idea how strong they are. I talk to women, oh yeah, do strength training. Okay, how much are you lifting? Oh, 5 pounds. That's not strength training. That's not how strong you are. I leg press 650 pounds, smiling. I make the boys cry. I'm 60 years old. Wow. I'm doing it pain-free without breaking a sweat. That's strength training. Now, I'm not saying that you have to do that. Okay, that's what I like to do, and I've been doing it for a while. When you start to find that power and that strength, trust me, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. You can be rainbow without the pain, without the, it's so calming and the amount of endorphins that are going to shoot through your brain, that feel good stuff that happens like this, and that power, you are completely on top of the world. And remember, physical strength, emotional, spiritual, mental, it's all connected. You're going to have fun.
I love it. I love it. That's absolutely brilliant. It's so true. So I think it's a perfect place to end it, right?
I think so.
It's gonna be fun. Yes, I'm sorry. I realized it's got very dark here. I forget I'm in England, and like it was so bright earlier, and now it's suddenly we're heading up.
Yeah, I barely can see you.
So dark. I'm here, really. I still got such a suntan, so all you see is my sparkly teeth now. Okay.
Exactly.
So thank you so much for joining me, Batista. So I'm going to post up these links, so be sure to check out drfitnessint.com, and you can book that free consultation, which is such a generous offer of Batista's. And I'm sure that you can reach out to you in any way and see if there's any way that you could possibly help them. And and obviously your books cover an awful lot of that information as well. But as you've probably gathered, she's fun, she's wonderful, she's amazing, she's incredibly strong. She looks fantastic for somebody her age, and of course, what a true inspiration of showing just how learning to be present, learning to listen, how to be guided, and how that can really get you to where you want to be when you peel off the distractions and pay attention, which is why we get on so well, Batista, don't we? Because of course that's exactly the type of coaching and my message too. So thank you again, my love. And so for now, for all of you listening, please hit the subscribe button so that we can let you know so easily when our next episode is on for more and different. But for now, I'm Dr. Rana Al-Falaki. Be free, be fun, and be fearless.